Eliza lived in a mountain village famous for its weavers, where tradition dictated every thread, pattern, and color. From the moment she could hold a shuttle, she was taught the Great Lattice, a complex, geometric pattern passed down through generations. To stray from the lattice was considered failure. Eliza was a diligent student, but her mind saw colors that didn't match the village dyes and shapes that weren't angular. Her tapestries, though technically flawless, always contained a subtle, unusual flair, a shimmer of unexpected turquoise, a line that curved just slightly where it should have been straight. Her master weaver often sighed, saying, "Your hands are perfect, Eliza, but your eye is too wild." One year, the annual trade caravan was delayed by heavy snow, and the village's main dye supplier was cut off. Panic set in. They couldn't complete their usual order of traditional Great Lattice blankets. "We have no ruby reds and no azure blues," the master cried. "We must wait. Our hands are tied." Eliza stepped forward, holding a handful of brittle, dried wildflowers she had gathered on a remote, neglected ridge. "We don't need the city dyes," she said quietly. "We have the mountain." The others scoffed. How could dried weeds, bark, and dirt compete with established pigments? But Eliza began to work. She spent days boiling, steeping, and filtering, extracting pale, earthy, and surprising colors. A dusty sage green from moss, a soft lavender gray from certain lichens, and a deep, muted rust from iron-rich soil. When she started weaving, she didn't try to force these delicate, natural hues into the bold, angular Great Lattice. Instead, she let her wild eye guide her. She wove a tapestry that didn't rely on perfect symmetry, but on flow. It showed the misty ascent of the mountainside, with soft, overlapping curves and colors that shifted subtly, like light through a fog. When the snow finally cleared, the trade caravan arrived. They looked at the stacks of unfinished traditional weaves, then stopped at Eliza's new work. The lead merchant didn't look for the Great Lattice. She simply ran her hand over Eliza's creation and said, "This is the mountain itself. It has life." She placed an order not for the traditional blankets, but for 100 tapestries like Eliza's, the winding path pattern, as it was immediately dubbed. They were unique, impossible to replicate the city dyes, and they sold for 10 times the usual price because they captured the true spirit of the high country. Eliza didn't become famous by trying to be a perfect copy of her predecessors. She became famous when the crisis forced her to use the tools she had and to follow the vision she already possessed.